Freestyle Travel. Hey everybody, this is your host Kenny Flannery, and this is the Freestyle Travel Show. A good old show where I talk about my travels, other people's travels that I meet, tips and tricks, basically all things living on the road, living indefinitely, and beer stuff here and there, hiking stuff here and there, camping, all kinds of stuff in that realm. Anyways, this one, I think it'll be a short one. We'll see how it goes. But it's just going to be about hitchhiking from Texas to Wyoming, which is what I've done most recently. I'm really excited for the next, what I think is going to be the next episode, unless I squeeze another one in there, because I'll be going to Portland next to go to 62 breweries in a day, I believe is the number. It's going to be awesome. So that is going to be a good episode. I'm not exactly sure how and what I'm going to record on that, but I will get some good stuff. But back to this. If you listen to the last episode, I was in Lubbock, Texas. I just hitchhiked up from Fredericksburg. I'm going to take a sip of this little Hefeweizen. It's not bad. There's better Heffies out there. There's a lot of worse ones too. I like stouts usually, but like I said, I digress. It's still a good one. I was in Lubbock, Texas. I was just hitchhiking up from Fredericksburg. I was seeing a girl there for a few days or so, catching up with her, and got on the road, and someone bought me a hotel room, actually. They tried to buy me a bus ticket. That didn't work out, so I turned into a hotel room, which was cool. I'm going to talk about this trip, hitching from Texas to Wyoming, but I kind of want to just touch on just that stretch in general, not just this particular trip. And in regards to the hotel room, kind of sucks. You never want to do that, really, unless you got a bunch of money and whatever. But if you're working on minimal money, hotel room is a nice little, $40 ding if you're lucky. Sometimes you get a cheap one for the $25 range. That's rare, and usually they're working their way up to the $50, $60, hopefully not $70 range, but it can happen. But that's a lot of beer. That is a lot of beer. $60, I mean, that's several good nights, or like an epic night, or weeks on the road of food. $70, you could stretch that for a month if you're really going for it easy. So you kind of want to avoid doing that, but when someone else pays for it, and it's hard to turn that down. And the point is, with West Texas specifically, where I was hitchhiking through, there's not a lot of cover, So obviously, I mean, if you're hitchhiking and for an extended period of time, you probably got a tent, a bivvy, a tarp, a hammock, something. But in that part of Texas, there's not a lot of places where you can tuck away. Some stretches, kind of, but yeah, not a ton. And that's always a pain. Because, if there's anything, any kind of woods, it's so easy to tuck in, like 10 feet. And usually by highways and things like that, on-ramps even in the east, it's easy. It's easy to find some trees. But yeah, a lot of desert. So it was a lucky move getting the hotel room. Because on my own accord, dropping my own money for a little motel, I'll only do it like if the weather's real bad, real bad. Or like, this situation where there's nowhere to get hidden, but try to avoid it. But yeah, so that happened again, actually the very next night. So that dude put me up in the hotel, essentially. I got up the next day. I wasn't really in a hurry. I wasn't in a big hurry to get to. So I say this is Texas to Wyoming, but really I was trying to get to my brother's before the 4th of July in Boulder, Colorado, because he was going to be driving to Wyoming. So if I got as far as Boulder, I'd be getting to Wyoming, was the deal. And I had more than a week to get there. And we're talking from Lubbock, not that far. So, I'm moseying along. I got picked up by a prison guard guy. He was telling me some stories and stuff, and nothing too crazy. Sounded like his life was pretty mellow, especially on the weekends. Like, they just take turns sleeping, those guards. Not to sell those guys out, in case this ever gets back around. I'm sure it doesn't matter. Got another short ride, and then actually got another ride from prison trainees. At first I was in the back of a pickup truck, and I roll up and there's these like 3 uniformed dudes, and I was in the very back, in the bed of the pickup truck cruising, but dropped a couple of those guys off in Amarillo, and I got to hop in and hear about those guys training for several weeks and what they were going through. Also seemed fairly mellow. But that guy was, he was pretty cool. He didn't talk a whole bunch, but then he was going up past Amarillo, which was awesome because, it's not a huge city, but it's a place where you can kind of get stuck as a hitchhiker, especially if you're not cutting down 40 one way or the other. And I was not. I was going north through it. So he gave me a ride, and then his mom owned the Mexican restaurant. So he was like, I'm going to pop in here. I got to get stuff for my girlfriend. And then he popped back out and had a big tray of a styrofoam container full of tacos for me. He's like, yeah, these are from my mom, basically. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'll eat your mom's tacos. I'll take a sip of beer on that note. So, anyways, he drops me off. So on the side of the road, munching on his mom's taco. Couldn't help myself on that one. And I'm just sitting there eating, and I get going again. Some dude stopped and asked if I was okay, and then came back with water. I'm like, I'm totally fine, and gave me a quick little Jesus rundown. That's fun. And then I got another ride from another dude who once again put me up in a hotel room because it was getting dark. And he slipped me some cash, and it was the exact amount of cash to get the hotel room there in Dalhart. I think it was $42. So, plus a little profit. I was kind of cruising. Had money for food. Once again, got to, it was hot as hell. There's nowhere to tuck away, really. And yeah, it's good to go. Another chill night. That doesn't happen too often. Twice in a row. So, pretty cool. Pretty lucky, Would have had to do a lot of walking and fooling around, trying to find a place to camp. So, I got on the road again the next day. I got tricked right away. This happens every once in a while. I was just walking out of town a little ways, and I was walking past the gas station, and these guys were like, they stopped for me, and they were waving at me like, come on. And then I hop in there, and these 3 guys are laughing at me. This dude in the front seat's got like gold teeth grill, just like joyfully laughing at me. Just, I'm like, what's going on? I was like, and they're like, where are you going? And I just said Denver for ease of whatever destination. And they're like, we are too. And they kept laughing, and I realized the dude had his phone pointed at me. He was taking a video, and he's like, dude, look at my hat. And I look at his hat, and he's like, look at that sign. And, they all worked at the gas station. So, they weren't going anywhere. They were just having a good laugh. Bastards. So, whatever. I just moved on. That wasn't too bad out of shape. It was kind of funny. But, this rancher picks me up next. Pretty chill dude. He's worked his way up through the ranch scene. Anyways, he was going up to a couple towns up, coming from near Lubbock, actually. Some cows escaped from a fence, and he had to go just like make sure it was okay. He made it sound like he was going to be there for like 30 minutes and then make the whole big drive back. But yeah, kind of scored a burrito out of that. We stopped and had some lunch. Like, we were having some good conversations. So I think he was like, let me get this dude a burrito and hear a few more stories, kind of thing, which is pretty sweet. At this point, I'm in New Mexico. Let me take a sip of beer. So, Yeah, kind of cruising right along. And then I got another ride that day from a guy who was ultimately going to Breckenridge, but he was in no hurry and had been driving for a while. I drove as far as Pueblo with that guy. That's where he dropped me off. I figured I'd chill there, see if I can make something happen. Stopped at a couple breweries, checked out some beers, poked around on my phone at couch surfing, thinking, once again, I'm not in a hurry, so if I could find someone cool who lived in Pueblo worth hanging out with, that would have been cool. Didn't work out, but I ended up camping just over the railroad tracks there. I found a pretty good, it was maybe too good of a spot, because I got there and there's like already a couple things set up. Nobody came there in the night, but there's like, once I got deep in there, I saw a tarp with a mattress all set up, a couple other little mini camps, evidence of people that had crashed there before. So it's kind of a sign that, like, obviously you found a good hidden spot, but at the same time, like, not hidden enough. Like, there's other people who might be crashing there, and you don't know what their scene is. Probably totally cool, but you don't want to, or I don't really want to startle anybody. I don't want to be camping on someone's spot. Sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it's not so easy to determine how established a spot is. I mean, this could be basically where someone lives, the little, mattress and everything else set up. That's not like a one night kind of thing. That might be just like someone's spot. That camp near it, but not close enough where, we'd run into each other. I don't think anyone came during the night. Looking back on those situations, it's like, oh man, I could have probably slept on that sweet little mattress set up under the tarp. Not that it rained or anything, but yeah. Anyways, hopped over that was actually the first night I slept on my sleeping pad that I made. I think I mentioned this in some other podcasts, the Spartan pad that I messed around with while I was in Mississippi working on the bivy packs. First night on that, not a big success. The shape of it was okay. There's a couple things I would change. Basically, I just used this 1/2-inch foam that I was reading other people were using. So I figured it'd be good. And yeah, I kind of made this hourglass shape. It goes as far down as just below my ass and up to my shoulders. The idea being, like, who needs a full length pad? They make 3/4 length pads, so put my legs on the ground, that's fine. And I have the pad extend up above my shoulders because I have a pillow. So that made sense, and I still think it makes sense. But yeah, the shape was okay, but the foam was just not the best kind of foam. It kind of compressed throughout the night, mostly under my hips. So I gotta reassess that situation. Also, I scored it so I could fold it up into 4 pieces, and it really wants to rip where I cut it, so a tape would solve that. Wouldn't look great, but I also probably don't care. So yeah, I kept testing a little bit more. So that's one more thing I gotta tweak. I think it's gonna work out in the end. I might explore making an inflatable kind of pad. We'll see. So anyways, woke up, wasn't the most comfortable night of sleep, like I said, but not the worst. Hopped on the road, got hassled by a cop, really nice cop. He was just, you can't be on the road kind of guy. Like, I didn't even have to play too dumb. He just, like, gave me that out. But as I'm walking down the on-ramp from the actual highway, dude picked me up who was, where was that guy going? He was going, up towards Colorado Springs, I guess. No, he was going to Denver. But I was like, I don't need to get all the way to Denver. Yeah, that's right. Because, I'm heading to Boulder to see my brother, but like I said, I had time. So I popped out in Colorado Springs. I was like, let me check this place out. And there's a couple legit breweries there I wanted to, make a point of stopping in. Unlike Pueblo. Pueblo is just sort of like opportunistic breweries. I was like, let me see. Speaking of which. So, anyways, I pop out in Pueblo. I did some writing there, a little diner. Get to one brewery, get to another brewery. Giant hailstorm happened while I was at one of them, Red Leg Brewery, I believe it was called. Pretty good beer there, small place. Then I went over to Trinity. That place is legit. Oh man, they had a ton of beers on tap, and I drank all of them. So I'm sitting there drinking all these beers, and there's this insurance adjuster dude next to me. He's in town just to adjust insurance or whatever. And we started talking, and earlier at the diner, I had like kind of thrown the couch surfing stuff out there. Tried to see if I could find a place to crash at while I was there, or at least find someone kind of cool. And literally, the last call was kind of early. I forget what time last call was, but it was still light outside. Maybe it was 10. I felt like it was more like 8 or something. I think it was something like 8 or 9, 10. And right as I called last call, we got our last beer. He went to the bathroom, and for the first time I was there, I wasn't like talking to people, so I pulled out my phone, and just then I got a message from this couple in town. And they're like, yeah, you can stay with us. But we're like way in the north, so maybe it's too late, but maybe tomorrow. And right as I'm reading this message, the insurance adjuster dude I was talking to comes out, and he's like, hey, if you need a ride anywhere, I can do that. I was like, perfect. So right then I was like, I got this couple I can stay with. So if you can give me a ride up to the north of the city, then they'll be able to scoop me up right there, and I'll actually be able to stay with them. So that's what happened. Went and met this couple. Super cool. They've done their traveling. Now they're living in Colorado Springs. They got a trip to Scotland planned. They had like a few sips of Lagavulin left. Just kind of chatted with them. Spent a day in Colorado Springs, and I was pretty impressed by Colorado Springs, actually. There's this Garden of the Gods. It's all these like red rock kind of formations. Nothing super crazy compared to like Utah, but pretty dang cool to walk around for a couple hours. So did that. More breweries, obviously. Goat Patch, to name one. And yeah, spent another night with that couple. It's pretty chill. Back on the road the next day. Got some short rides. Some dude once again got me a burrito. It's like, all right, this burrito thing's working out pretty good. And yeah, some dude named Green Beans who lived in his car, he picked me up, gave me a pretty short ride. One more beer there. Yeah, and just kind of kept cruising, little short rides mostly, into the south part of Denver where it was starting to get a little chunky. I'm like, all right. And then this guy picks me up, and he was going to Vail. And at that point, I was like pretty set on Boulder, getting to where I was at. But when he said Vail, I was like, ooh. So here's the thing with Denver. Like I-70 runs right through it east to west. And then I-25 is the road that I was on that goes up to Boulder. So had I tried to keep going to Boulder, I would have had to jump out like at a weird junction. So yeah, just kind of changed my mind. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to Idaho Springs, which meant I would ride up to 70 with them and then head west into the mountains. Definitely not a direct way to go to Boulder, but at that point I didn't care. And I was like, if I do want to go to Boulder afterwards, I can hitch one of these little mountain pass roads through Netherlands or head back on 70, or, you know, multiple options. But sounded cool. And somebody told me about a brewery called Tommyknocker in Idaho Springs. So it's like, I'll check that out. So that's what I did. Hopped out, went and checked out this Tommyknocker brewery. And I did see this mountain road heading to Netherlands. I was like, all right, there's just enough daylight. Let me walk through town and try to hitch over the mountain. But as I was walking through town, I found another brewery. So I was like, all right, let me ponder my situation a little more over any beers that they might have. And they had a few. So I had quite a few samples, and yeah, they talked me into taking the main road. Because I was like, all right, there's still a little bit of daylight left. Let me see if I can get to Boulder, get to my brother's place, and just, chill out there for several days. And then, yeah, you're going to have a much easier time, like, just going back to I-70, heading towards Denver, and then hopping off on the road that goes up to Boulder. So I'm like, all right, I'll do that. So I walked to the on-ramp, and I got a ride real quick, and this is where things got a little wacky. This dude it's like a short ride, like a 5 or 10 mile ride. And this guy asked me if I wanted to smoke, and I was like, sure. But then he had this whole oil setup. It's kind of like a dab setup. A little bit weird. It was almost like freebasing this oil. The situation I was in all of a sudden, like, it was like a 2-man job. Like, he had to light it from underneath, and then it'd start smoking up, and I'd suck up the smoke with a straw. Like, it is a little wonky, but okay. And I guess I just took a monster hit, and then he's like, all right, have a good day. So I hop off, and I'm walking down onto I-70 again, and it just hit me, and I lost my mind. Literally, I was pretty drunk. I get not that drunk. I was under control. I mean, I had a bunch of beers, but they were little samples for the most part. But for the life of me, I could not remember where I was. I was looking around at the mountains like, crap. I don't know where I am. Like, legitimately, like, never had, I mean, it wasn't the beer, it was definitely this oil. But I felt like in touch. Like, I'm like, these are mountains I'm walking. I'm not, the mountains aren't like an acid trip or something. They're not like flashing. Like, everything is tangible. I got a grasp on physics. I just don't know where I am. So I stopped looking at cars, and I just started walking down the highway, still with my thumb out, but like, back to traffic. Like, almost like I don't want to ride right now. Let me settle down. A, get my bearings, find out where I am. B, remember where I'm going. And C, not be a psycho. So if like someone a little more straight-laced picks me up, I don't sound out of control. But sure enough, someone stopped like right away. So, but we're on the highway, so it took them a second to slow down. So I'm running like, 50 yards to catch up to them. And the whole time I'm running, I'm just like, oh, fuck, where am I? So luckily, I remembered. I'm like, Boulder, Jack, my brother. So, going to Boulder. So, right as I got in the car, I just kept that in my head. And luckily, it's just like this younger couple. And they slow rolled me at first. I was like, I'm going to Boulder. And they're like, oh, we're going towards Denver. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'll jump out at the whatever road. But I guess I held my own. I felt so crazy. But I held my own, and it was one of those rides where they were just like feeling me out. Like, they were actually going to Boulder. Like, people do that a lot, They'll pick you up, and they'll say they're going to the next town or whatever, just to make sure you're not a lunatic. So they have an easy social out if they want to drop you off. It was one of those, and even though I was a freaking lunatic in this moment, somehow I covered my tracks. And yeah, not only were they going to Boulder, they were going to the Fox Theater. My brother lives right next door to that thing, so they were going to the exact place in Boulder. It's freaking awesome. Take a sip of beer. Yeah, that's the long journey that got me to Boulder. Yeah, a lot of stuff in between there, but had to get it all out. Yeah, so I caught up with my brother, drank a bunch of beers, obviously. Boulder's the Mecca. So I spent, I forget how long in Boulder, several days, maybe even a week. He's working in Denver, so he'd mostly be doing that during the day. But we managed to kick it quite a bit. I got a bunch of writing done during the days in between, checking out different beers, hanging out with him. And finally on the 4th of July, we he's got a car, so we drove up to Wyoming in time. And my other brother was out here with his kids. And my mom, of course, in Alpine, this little town, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes south of Jackson. And, yeah, right by Melbourne. So it was perfect. We got there just in time for, fireworks, the whole shebang. Chilled out for a few days, caught up. Both brothers, pretty dang fun. My older brother flew back first, and then, my younger brother, he drove back to Boulder yesterday. I think yesterday, yeah. And, I'm still here. And I'll be leaving Wednesday, I guess, heading to Portland. So I'll talk about that in a second, but as far as, I guess I'll just jump to that. I was going to have some more commentary on hitchhiking just through Texas and whatnot, because it was an interesting one, this whole thing I just described, because a lot of times when I've been hitching through Texas, it's been on these main roads, so all these little smaller highways I was on cutting through Texas. Yeah, I guess that's the main thing to think about, is camping is not always easy. And the fact that I lucked out 2 nights in a row with people who moteled me up, that's not something I would count on. Like, that was just craziness. Like, it's not out of the question. It's not like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. But, yeah. Maybe have a... You can never really have a backup plan, can you? I don't know. Just be aware that it's a thing. Try to get on top of couch surfing, if you can. You can listen to I have an episode on like stealth camping and whatnot, but as far as using Google Maps and satellite view to find places to stay, to camp, you can get hidden away. That's the best bet, but pretty much just got lucky. Those roads are funky. New Mexico is a short little thing. But yeah, once I got to Colorado, that's the beauty of Colorado. Even cutting up there through Pueblo didn't look like they would have much, but I found something, If you get on satellite view, Google Maps, walk around the highway there's trees. And then once you get north, like, it's easy. You don't have to digitize anything. Just look around and disappear into the woods. So, anyways, that's that. Pretty easy hitching altogether. But so my next move is Portland, as I say. I'm gonna leave. I'm staying here tonight, all day tomorrow, and then tomorrow, I think it's about a 12-hour drive to Portland. So my goal is to do it in 2 days, and what I'm thinking and aiming for is Boise. So I'm in specifically at the moment I'm in Teton Village. So I've done it several times before from here to Boise. Basically getting over the pass to Victor is pretty easy because a lot of people are making that drive. And hitchhiking's, not super common, but it's definitely not a rare sight around here. So that should be easy. And then getting to the interstate system once I'm there. We'll see. I think it may be a 6-hour drive to Boise, but I think I can make it. And I just found out I might have a place to stay there with someone I met kind of randomly at a bar once upon a time. Pretty cool dude. So that would actually be pretty awesome just to catch up with him. And then, the idea would be hopefully get from there to Portland in a day. But I left myself one extra day just in case. And then the day after that, gonna go drink all the beer, literally. So that's gonna be the most exciting thing. So Yeah, that's going to be freaking amazing. 62 breweries in a day. John's got it all mapped out. It'll be pretty killer. So, yeah, we'll see. Until then. With all my shit straight, I will see you down the road.